Quelle heure est-il? What's the time? Learning to tell the time in French by Madame Brown. Telling the time in French. Although there are many similarities between French and English, there are many differences too. When telling the time in French, Anglophones should remember AM and PM. The French do not use this designation at all, really. The French, as well as other European countries, often use 24-hour time to distinguish AM from PM. This phrase, o'clock, does not exist in French. Instead, they say il est 9 heures. It is 9 hours. The French do not always use the colon symbol when writing time. Instead of 12:00, they may write 12H. An alternative to AM and PM are the phrases du matin, in the morning, such as il est 6 heures du matin, it is 6 in the morning. De l'après-midi, in the afternoon, il est 3 heures de l'après-midi, it is 3 in the afternoon. Du soir, in the evening, il est 8 heures du soir, it's 8 in the evening. Time on the hour. Telling time on the hour is rather simple. Use the phrase il est to say it is, then follow it with the number of the hour plus the word heure. 24-hour time is included to demonstrate how it is used for times after midday. Note, 1 o'clock does not take the S in heure because it's only 1 hour. So we have il est 1 heure, il est 13 heures, il est 2 heures, il est 14 heures, il est 3 heures, il est 15 heures, il est 4 heures, il est 16 heures, il est 5 heures, il est 17 heures, il est 6 heures, il est 18 heures, il est 7 heures, il est 19 heures, il est 8 heures, il est 20 heures, il est 9 heures, il est 21 heures, il est 10 heures, il est 22 heures, il est 11 heures, il est 23 heures. Noon and midnight. When it is noon or midnight, the French will use the phrases il est midi, it is midday, il est minuit, it is midnight. Quelle heure est-il? It's 4 o'clock. You could write 4H or say il est 4 heures ou il est 4 heures du matin. It's 4 in the morning. You could write 16H or say il est 16 heures ou il est 4 heures de l'après-midi. Quelle heure est-il? It's 7 o'clock. You could write 7H or you could say il est 7 heures ou il est 7 heures du matin. You could also write 19H if it's in the evening, or say il est 19 heures ou il est 7 heures du soir. Quelle heure est-il? It's 9 o'clock. You could write 9H, or you could say il est 9 heures ou il est 9 heures du matin. It's 9 in the morning. If it's in the evening, you could write 21H, or say il est 21 heures ou il est 9 heures du soir. Time on the half hour. The phrase et demi, with an E at the end, is used to state half past the hour. Except in the case of 24-hour time, then only state the number of minutes, 30 or 30. This means for 1:30 a.m. you could say il est 1h30 as well as il est 1h30. You could say il est 3h30 for 3:30 in the morning, or if you wanted to clarify the afternoon, you could say il est 3h30 de l'après-midi. Or you could say il est 15h30 if it's in the afternoon. You could say il est 5h30 ou il est 17h30. Il est 7h30 ou il est 19h30. Il est 9h30, il est 21h30. Il est 11h30, il est 23h30. Half past noon or midnight, notice that demi has lost its E. Il est midi et demi. Il est minuit et demi. Quelle heure est-il? It's 1:30. You could write 1H30, or you could say il est 1h30, il est 1h30 du matin, il est 1h30 du matin. If it's in the afternoon, you could write 13H30, or you could say il est 13h30, il est 1h30 de l'après-midi, ou il est 1h30 de l'après-midi. Quelle heure est-il? It's 9:30. You could write 9H30, or you could say il est 9h30, il est 9h30 du matin, il est 9h30 du matin. If it's in the evening, you could write 21H30, or you could say il est 21h30. Il est 9h30 du soir ou il est 9h30 du soir. To state it as a quarter past the hour, the French will use the phrase et quart, as in and a quarter. Il est 1h15, but they won't use this phrase with 24-hour time. They would say il est 13h15. Il est 3h15, il est 15h15. Il est 5h15, il est 17h15. Il est 7h15 ou il est 19h15. Il est 9h15 ou il est 21h15. Il est 11h15 ou il est 23h15. Il est midi et quart ou il est minuit et quart. Notice if it's midnight, you write 00, meaning it's only 15 minutes after midnight. Quelle heure est-il? It's 3:15. You could write 3h15 or you could say il est 3h15. Il est 3h15 du matin, il est 3h15 du matin. If it's in the afternoon, you could write 15h15 or you could say il est 15h15 ou il est 3h15 de l'après-midi ou il est 3h15 de l'après-midi. It's 11:15. If it's in the morning, you could write 11h15. You could say il est 11h15 ou il est 11h15 du matin ou il est 11h15 du matin. If it's in the evening, you could write 23h15 and say il est 23h15. You could also say il est 11h15 du soir ou il est 11h15 du soir. A quarter to the hour. When it is a quarter to the hour, you must state the hour minus a quarter using the phrase moins le quart. However, this phrase is not used with 24-hour time. Instead, only the minutes are stated after the hour. Looking at 1:45, you would say il est 2h moins le quart. It's 2 minus the quarter. But if it's 24-hour time, you could say il est 13h45. Il est 4h moins le quart for 3:45 ou il est 15h45. For 5:45, you could say il est 6h moins le quart ou il est 17h45. For 7:45, you could say il est 8h moins le quart ou il est 19h45. For 9:45, you could say il est 10h moins le quart ou il est 21h45. And if it's 11:45, you could say il est midi moins le quart, so it's noon minus a quarter. You could say il est minuit moins le quart, it's midnight minus the quarter. If you're using 24-hour time, you'd say il est 23h45. Pratiquer. Quelle heure est-il? It's 5:45. You could write 5h45, or you could say il est 6h moins le quart, il est 6h moins le quart du matin, ou il est 5h45 du matin. If it's in the evening, you could write 17h45 and say il est 17h45. Ou il est 6h moins le quart du soir, ou il est 5h45 du soir. Quelle heure est-il? It's 7:45. You could say il est 8h moins le quart. Il est 8h moins le quart du matin. Il est 7h45 du matin. If it's in the evening, you might write 19h45 or say il est 19h45. Il est 8h moins le quart du soir ou il est 7h45 du soir. Minutes past the hour. With minutes past the hour, you can simply state the number of minutes. The phrase moins can also be used for times not using 24-hour time. So for example, it's 1:17, you could say il est 1h17 or il est 13h17 if it's in the afternoon. Il est 3h23, it's 3:23, or il est 15h23. For 5:05, you could say il est 5h05 ou il est 17h05. For 7:50, you could say il est 8h moins 10. It is 8 minus 10. Ou 19h, il est 19h50. You could say for 9:35, il est 10h moins 25. It is 10 minus 25. But you could also say il est 21h35. For 11:40, you could say il est midi moins 20 ou il est minuit moins 20 for midnight. It's midnight minus 20, or il est 23h40. Quelle heure est-il? It's 1:13. You could write 1h13, or you could say il est 1h13, ou il est 1h13 du matin, ou il est 1h13 du soir. If it's in the afternoon, you could write 13h13, or you could say il est 13h13, ou il est 1h13 de l'après-midi. Quelle heure est-il? It's 2:26. You could write 2h26 and say il est 2h26 ou il est 2h26 du matin. If it's in the afternoon, you could write 14h26 and say il est 14h26 ou il est 2h26 de l'après-midi. Quelle heure est-il? It's 9:55. You could say il est 10h moins 5, so it's 10 minus 5. You could say il est 10h moins 5 du matin, or even il est 9h55 du matin. If it's in the evening, you would write 21h55, or you could say il est 21h55. Or il est 10h moins 5 du soir. It is 10 minus 5 in the evening. Il est 9h55 du soir. Quelle heure est-il? It's 10:35. You could write 10h35 and say il est 11h moins 25. So it's 11 minus 25. You could say il est 11h moins 25 du matin. Il est 10h35 du matin. If it's in the evening, you could write 22h35 and say il est 22h35 ou il est 11h moins 25 du soir. Ou il est 10h35 du soir. These are some useful phrases for telling time. Aujourd'hui, today. Demain, tomorrow. Après-demain, day after tomorrow. Hier, yesterday. Avant-hier, day before yesterday. Lendemain, the next day. Une seconde, a second. Une minute, a minute. Une heure, an hour. Un jour, a day. Une semaine, a week. Un mois, a month. Here are some useful prepositions for telling time. À, with an accent grave, meaning at. This is the point at which something will occur. À 8h, je vais au marché. At 8 o'clock, I go to the market. The preposition en, meaning in. This is a period in which something will occur. En été, je joue au golf. In summer, I play golf. Dans, meaning in or within. The duration of time for something to take place. Dans 10 minutes, je pars. In 10 minutes, I'm leaving. Pour, meaning for. The duration of time for a future event. On va marcher pour 5 minutes. We're going to walk for 5 minutes. Depuis, since. The duration of an ongoing activity. Il reste là depuis 1 heure. He's been there for an hour. Pendant or durant mean while or during. This tells of an entire duration of an event. J'ai étudié pendant 3 jours. I studied for 3 days. And finally, vers, meaning around, an approximate time of an event. J'arrive à 8 heures. Oh, pardon. J'arrive vers 8 heures. I'll arrive around 8 a.m. Alors, c'est tout. Merci beaucoup. I'm Madame Brown et au revoir. À la prochaine.